Hi, I'm Shimelle Laine, and I really quickly wanted to share with you the supplies that I'm using in my Journal Your Christmas kit for 2015. So here is everything that I have put aside, and I'll just take you through each piece. So these are the holly enamel dots from Christmas Magic, so those are American Crafts. Some sequins. These are Studio Calico in wood grain and white stars. There's also a beautiful sequin pack from Pink Paisley this Christmas, if that takes your fancy. These are some chipboard stars. Now this set is in black and gray. It's also by Studio Calico. The color doesn't really matter for what I'm planning. I'm going to cover them up with embossing powder and paints and things like that to make them match my pages and have a bit more sparkle. But that's what they look like in the package. And this is the Pink Paisley Yuletide ephemera, which has a mix of gold foil on cardstock and also some acetate pieces. I'll just open this up so you can see. There we go. So there is a mix of things like just simple tiny little pieces of gold foil and some pieces that are printed cardstock. Some gold foil there. You can have a little look. And then there's also this printed acetate section. So some of them are just plain printed and some of them again have the gold foil. There's snowflakes and presents and phrases. Some little tags like this one that says "Meet me under the mistletoe." Yeah. Some with script writing. Beautiful little snowflake. Deck the halls. And some frames in here too. Some wreaths, stars, bells, little striped frame, printed frame, and big polka dot sparkly tag. And some more little acetate snowflakes, and then some bigger pieces here on cardstock. Okay, so that's the Pink Paisley Yuletide ephemera with gold foil and acetate. This is also from Pink Paisley Yuletide, and this is gold foil words on transparent stickers. So little phrases that are really nice for just adding into the little small spaces when you're layering and need just a little something to make it seem finished. These are also word stickers, but not see-through and not gold foil, and a little bit bigger. So these are from Christmas Magic, and this comes with a red and green alphabet on the back. This one is gold foil and not Christmas specific, so whatever you don't use in the Christmas project, then of course you can put it into your other projects. These are the gold foil Project Life journaling cards in the 4x6 size. There are two of those, they just stuck together. So yeah, you get two of each pattern in the book. Are there two of those? There's only one of that one. Okay. There's two of quite a few, but not two of each one. I'm sorry. I take it back. There's two of the ones at the beginning of the book, and then the end of the book has a bit more variety. Okay, so those are 4x6 journaling cards in gold foil by Project Life. And there is this ephemera kit, which I've shown out of the package in a previous video when I showed the Christmas Magic collection, so I can link that up if you want to see. Go straight to emptying this out in the other video. You can click on the screen. But this has a mix of small pieces in the top, medium pieces here, and then the large ones at the back are the dimensional folding die cuts. So you fold them in on the tabs and put pop dots behind the ones that you want to be lifted up off the page, and that includes a phrase that says Merry Christmas, a train, this little Christmas village scene, and then this piece here with the presents, which folds together to be a corner that you can put around the edge of your page or around the edge of a photo. And this has silver foil, and mixing silver and gold foil is something I really wanted to do in my Christmas journal this year, because I think it's something I noticed in my photos from the last few years, that when I'm photographing things at Christmas, there's a lot of both gold and silver, so I wanted to be able to have it all look like it should go. There are 2 sets of thickers. This one called Starlight, which is chipboard with the gold foil on top, includes some stars as well, and the numbers go up to 31. And then Fitzgerald in red glitter on red foam. I really like this alphabet even if you're using small pages, because although it's tall, it's very narrow, so you can still put a title in a small amount of space. Then the stamps, there are the 2 small stamps from Christmas Magic, the Santa, which is good for coloring in or stamping on different layers of paper and then layering it up when you cut out the pieces, and the little Merry Christmas phrase. Then these 2, which are just for Journal Your Christmas, includes little phrases that we tend to use throughout the project, like Rekindle the Magic, but also some cute little Christmas ones like On the Nice List, Most Wonderful Time of the Year, The Light, the Tree, and the Holly, and the Stars all match elements that are in the kit elsewhere. And then these are number stamps. Obviously they're number stamps. The 2 sets work together. So there's a solid thick number, and then these are tiny little stars that they will either stamp, depending on how hard you press, they'll either stamp as teeny tiny stars or dots. If you press harder, they'll be round dots. If you press lightly, then they're stars. And you can do these in one color and then stamp these on top. So you could do these in a light color and then stamp these in a dark color of the same kind of dye ink, or you could do these in a solid color. Then you could do you could stamp these with Versamark and use your embossing powder so that you could have little gold or silver foil or glittery stars on top of the numbers, so that they will work well with the thickers. And then this little circle and this circle both work with the size of these, so that if you want to have your circle around the numbers, you can do that in either an outline or a darker color. And then you've got a Happy New Year one as well. You can get just these 2 sets of stamps together on their own without getting the kit, and those do ship worldwide. And that leaves us with paper. So there is the 6x6 paper pad for Christmas Magic, which includes lots and lots of different papers. I'll just open this up so you can have a look. There we go. So I'll just flip through the 6x6 so you can see everything that's in here and how the patterns are a smaller scale, but you still get cut apart designs. And I've already started cutting up this 6x6 to prep my pages for this year. And in another video, I will show you how I chose which patterns go where. I used some really simple guidelines, and I'm not overthinking it that each one I have to really worry about where it's going to go. But I just found that some work better in the smaller pockets and some work better in the larger pockets. So I'll share all of that with you in another video. There we go. So that's the whole 6x6 pad, and that whole thing is included in the kit. And then we're down to 12x12 papers. There are a few specialty papers. So there is this vellum with gold foil stars. And also this vellum, which is cream and white print. It's quite subtle, the cream and the white, so I'm hoping you can see that on camera, that there are these white dots, a bit like snowballs, and then the gold glitter stars on top. That's also vellum. There's a sheet of white wood grain cardstock, just a nice texture on that stark white background, and a white polka dot acetate sheet. But if you're creating this kit on your own, any sort of white or gold or silver acetate where the pattern is pretty simple so that you can see something else through it will work the exact same way that I'm going to use mine in the kit. And then 12 by 12 pattern papers. So there are a few different ones with numbers so that you have lots of options for counting down the days. And this one is Advent Avenue by from the Deck the Halls collection by American Crafts, which is a gray and white snowflake print. This is Snowflake Laine from Deck the Halls with a cut apart, and this Christmas light matches the Christmas lights in Christmas Magic, so they're elsewhere in the kit, with a green bow print on the back. This is Pink Paisley Yuletide. So these match the gold foil and acetate die cuts that are elsewhere in the kit, with this green pattern on the back. This is also Yuletide. This one's called Baked Goods. Cut apart that includes some little tags and the multicolored polka dot on the back. And this is the Pink Paisley Yuletide numbers. This one's called Countdown. That's a bit of a simpler, more stark number set. Or the music ledger in the back with the polka dots on top. This one's called Making a List. That's also from Pink Paisley Yuletide, and you could use it as a literal card list and gift list, of course, but you could also cut this apart so that you have plenty of journaling boxes of whatever size you might need. And the opposite has this music print in the background with a craft and white pattern over the top. This one is from Memorandum, and it has labels, which I envisioned that it would just be handy to be able to cut apart these labels and use them in the layering and literal labeling of things throughout the journal. So there are a variety of colors there, because not every single thing in your photos is going to be red and green, and maybe not everything is specifically a red and green memory, so you can have a bit more color there. And there's also these nice kind of vintage neutral type patterns on the back. And then this Merry Christmas over and over and over again in red and white text with a darker kind of gray tone-on-tone print on the back. And some film strips, little negative strips that you can use just as a filler pattern, or you can cut them apart and put different items in each one. You can put photos in them, or you can put journaling in them, or you can cut other patterns and put them in. I just find that this is a really easy way to add more things. It creates little pockets on your page, basically. It has a pink pattern on the other side in case you need a little bit of pink for any sugar plums in your Christmas this year. This one is from Seven Papers Felix collection, kind of a retro green tone-on-tone there. And a ledger on the back, grid paper, so that if you need more lines for journaling, you've got that. And this one is a little bit different than the rest, but I thought it was really fun, and I thought it had a lot of potential for cutting it apart into small strips and spreading it throughout the album so that it doesn't then seem like one page that's quite different. It would just have something where you could sprinkle this idea of Mary or the little trees, and you could sprinkle that throughout the album, and it would be a nice little bit of color. Same pattern in gray on the back if you prefer just the pattern without the hint of color. And last one, this is also from Felix, and this is, both sides are a more photo-like paper. So you've got the wood logs here, and made me think that as a 12 by 12, it's quite a bold paper, but cut into 3 by 4 or 4 by 6 pockets, like you might be using it in a Christmas journal. I think it will be really nice against all the photos that you might have at this time of year. And then there's this white brick on the other side, which again, I think a little bit like the white wood grain cardstock, just gives you a nice texture that isn't just a plain white. And it's something that would work really well where you could write words on the little bricks or use the lines as journaling. So that is my kit for this year. There is not an album in the kit itself because I have always encouraged everybody to use the album that speaks to you. I'm using a 6x8 handbook this year, which I've used a couple times before, and it's just worked really well for me. So I will share that in another video coming up soon. But this is the kit, and if you have any more questions, you can pop over to Shimelle.com to find the stamps for sale, the few kits that are remaining, and anything else, and links to shops wherever I can find that you might be able to stock up on these items if you'd like them. Thanks so much for watching. I look forward to journaling my Christmas with you. I'd love for you to join us. Thanks. See you soon.